got 3, I've got 1.
We have no viewers in yet, but we are recording.
We are on?
Yep.
We're on. Are we supposed to go there?
Does it pick up volume?
It should, yeah, but I had it turned down where you can't, there's no echo.
Thanks for doing that.
Hey, no problem.
We're literally on your recording.
Oh, hi. Hi. We'll get to work in a minute. You will.
We're gonna put a hole in it one day.
See, look at that.
Trying to catch up. Oh. I think you got 3 and I got 2. We're not even counting the ones.
Oh, see,
Oh.
but I'm really
You're
sucking.
bowling now.
I am bowling.
Holy.
I suck.
All right, I'm catching up, baby. Catching up.
I think I was winning before. Now it looks like he's kicking my butt. Thank you.
You're first, is that right?
No, because I think you're the one that got it in there.
Okay. Go ahead.
You know, we played better before. Oh no, look at that.
Big stripes on this side.
Ooh.
What was that, Lizzie?
I think you can.
Oh, you said that you played this
2
on,
more.
like you guys played Leagues or something?
Oh, not, we haven't in a long time, but my husband and
And I'm
I
new to this.
play these, and he wins all the time, and I'm an adequate second to
Are
his.
people watching this?
I don't know, I can't.
Oh, okay, it's all good.
He probably did.
It says there's maybe like 4 or 5.
We're not counting, I don't even know how to score, but I know you had 3, whatever bullseyes, and I had 2.
Okay, so do I
You're
go?
first.
Okay.
You're up, lady. Boom!
Oh, man!
I called it before it went in.
Oh, man!
Michael Jordan. Oh, yeah. I'm feeling it now.
Yeah, now you are.
Are there points if you get the band to stay up and you're the only one?
No.
Like if I had 2, somebody who knows cornhole.
All
right, We'll throw back 1 more.
Okay. You could go again. I think you're tied now.
Ben from Wenty's, courtesy of Ben. I'm first.
Yeah, you're
Okay.
first, because I
Got
think we're
this.
tied now.
It's right. With these,
Oh, but my whole technique went away from me. No wonder. Oh!
That sucks.
Bad. We're really bad. We gotta go 1 more. 1 more, Lizzie. 1 more. 1 more. We got 1 more. Do people even care?
yeah, they're enjoying it.
Okay.
There's 13 people on.
We're kind of like tied.
Yeah, we are tied now. 3-3.
Do we even know what time it is yet?
It is 7:52.
Oh, yeah, we're okay. We got it.
We're good. Okay, you're first, because you got the last one.
Okay, let's see here.
We're
Derek
tied.
Pratt told me, see the bags, if they were a slippery bag,
Yeah.
you do sideways.
Oh,
But
I didn't know that.
these are more of a cloth cotton bag.
Okay, so you just,
So, no, this.
or this.
He's like, because then it, like when it hits, it sticks.
Okay, that's not what
You can't slide it up with it, is what Derek said.
And Derek is always right.
Keep one, I'm just not good.
Oh!
Oh! Oh! Nice, what is he? that technique works.
Yeah, it
doesn't
does. The technique does work. See, Derek's always right.
Oh,
Whoa!
nothing but that.
We're warming up. All right.
Okay. I still think I beat him by one. I did.
She won.
By one.
Did they sell it here? The cups, everybody takes, you got the Eric took care of their hat.
He did. He said he's going to wear it all
Our
weekend.
merchandise, once again, canceltheshow.com. All kinds of cups, coolies, the hats elsewhere.
I think there's some t-shirts and stuff in there.
Oh, we did.
Yeah, there's a Trump t-shirt,
On
green light hat, there's that baseball card in there.
the Trump canceled this year. I don't think this one's for sale though.
No, because it looks like we're canceling Trump.
For a very special person.
Yes.
This one is for sale. Oh, no, this is just a black version.
Yeah.
There should be a baseball card. It's not what we sell, but somebody put a baseball card in there. They have to do the Trump.
We only have we have 2 bottles on
Football. Balls.
Yeah. All right, we'll head on in.
Thanks, Joe.
Hey, no problem.
Hey, Joe. Can you play songs if I sent them to you? Okay. Let's rock and roll, buddy. I just sent you the song you need to play as soon as you can.
All right.
Like, it's the most important thing of the day that we're doing.
It's really important.
Joe's looking at me like, what the hell are you talking about?
I have no idea what's so important, but I'm sure
It is the most important thing.
But I know what it is. I'm just not going to spill the beans. I'll be surprised if it's not what I think it is. Benjamin Kahn.
Hey, Ben. But tell me before I did a Rosh Hashanah celebration with the Khans.
Nice.
Now I grew up in a Jewish community in the St. Louis area in Creve Coeur. I was bar mitzvahs.
Yeah.
I had lots of Jewish friends, but I'd never been through a Rosh Hashanah celebration dinner.
I bet
in
that
the
was
New Year.
very cool.
Yeah. Ben was speaking Hebrew and
Ben was
I
speaking
couldn't
Hebrew.
understand. I didn't understand what was going on, but I ate a lot of really good food.
That's great.
It was like 5 courses of food.
Love it.
Dave said always twirl slide.
David said,
Oh, because we were showing, if you're just joining, we were playing
Cornhole.
We were playing cornhole.
it was a lot of fun.
Would you like me to play the song now? Oh, Vic can't hear me.
Joe, are you ready yet, dude?
Yeah, you don't have your headphones on.
Oh, I know.
He's
I was
talking
waiting.
to you.
Oh, I'm sorry. All right.
He wants to know.
Okay, well, let me set it up. Okay. Where are we? It's 7:57? Okay.
You got a second. It's still the show before
okay,
the show.
here it is. On Saturday, my University of Missouri football team beat 15th ranked Kansas State. Good rival. We've always had issues with them, even when we had better teams for whatever reason. Pretty good success with Kansas in recent years, who was a rival. Great success against Arkansas, which was fun. But Mizzou pulled off a good win, 61-yard field goal, longest in SEC history, as time expired by Harrison Mevis. So in honor, since I forgot to wear my Mizzou shirt.
I couldn't believe it. I thought you were going to come in all Mizzou'd up. I'm really disappointed, actually.
Yeah, I didn't wear it. I should have worn my Mizzou gear.
You should have.
But in honor of Mizzou winning the football game,
woo woo,
we give you this. your Missouri Tigers. They should be ranked in the top 25. Humble opinion, but they're not. But Tigers! Woo! That's right, people. The Missouri Tigers are 3-0. Although we had a bad situation happen on Saturday, too. The quarterback, Brady Cook, had a phenomenal game. He'd been above average just this season before that. But after the game, the coach got on the fans that booed him. Not all fans, just the fans that booed him.
Right.
And it's interesting because it's a great topic for cancel list. The fans trying to cancel Brady Cook.
Yes.
Don't. I actually saw people on social media go, Coach shouldn't have called out the fan. Yeah, he should have. And I got an issue with you if you booed the quarterback. If you booed the 21-year-old quarterback. He's a college kid, and he's been above average. Boo the coach. And you don't get pissed at the coach for bringing it to the public. Listen, in the post-game press conference, Eli Drinkwitz, who had some issues himself, he had a bad misjudgment at the end of the game from a coaching standpoint. But still, boo him. Don't boo the quarterback. So anyway, and Brady actually came out after the game and said, yeah, I heard the boos.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I just wish everybody would accept me because he is by far their best quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, literally quarterback. I just wish he didn't take another visit anywhere else. His whole life mission was to play quarterback at the University of Missouri. He's there. He's doing a pretty damn good job with an average line. His stats have been great. And fans booing him.
That had to be so discouraging to want that your whole life and then your fans boo you?
Yeah, and because everybody always wants the backup.
Right.
The backup goalie.
Yep.
The second pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
The backup quarterback. You're always the most popular person. And then be careful what you wish for. But anyway, stop canceling people. I saw you said it. Anyway, I was glad that Brady did that. He came out and said, listen, this is all I've ever wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody who actually wants to be at Missouri, somebody who bleeds black gold. And you know that's for any area of life. Somebody who is really trying to do whatever they can and is actually pretty damn good. So anyway, Missouri won. I had some fun with that. Sorry. Thank you for letting me play the Missouri fight song.
I wouldn't have expected
in honor of my Missouri Tigers. Real quick, funny story before we start the show. This is the show before the show. My senior year, we're playing Kansas, and I ran a route. It was a tight end, so I ran a route out to my left, and we had a freshman quarterback in the game, and he ended up being a phenomenal quarterback at the University of Missouri. Well, he's supposed to throw it quick, and I'm like, okay, I'm ready. But nobody was out there. So he was letting me continue to run, but I wasn't used to that. That's my excuse.
That's your excuse.
I'm setting it up.
Mm-hmm.
And then he finally throws, and I'm like, oh, come on, give me the.
Mm-hmm.
So the ball gets there. It's a little light. So as soon as the ball gets there, I turn my head and I see nothing but the end zone. And the ball goes right through my arms. It's the only pass ever dropped in a game, high school, college.
Mm.
And I went, and of course I get pulled out.
Of course you did.
And then the very next play, or two plays, that he throws an interception, and we end up losing to Kansas.
That sucks.
Anyway, after the game, my mom told me, she's like, I was sitting next to Coach's wife, and she was cussing you out.
I'm sure she was.
I was like, I deserved it. Trust me. Unlike Brady Cook, I was not good. So leave Brady alone. Let Brady cook. Anyway, this is cancelthisshow.com. I hope everybody had a good weekend. We're getting into this a little later. It's a Monday. Tons to get to myself. People say they're excited for hockey. Yeah. Kelly Mano said she was excited.
Yeah.
She posted some videos for us last week. Thanks to Kelly.
Yeah.
For doing that. That was a lot of fun. Conservative Ant wants to come back on. Said he loved us. And he doesn't say that for everybody.
No, he does, because he doesn't like everybody.
He said, no. He does.
He doesn't like everybody. So I was
He's like,
thrilled that
oh my God, you guys got a great show. He's like, I will come back on.
Yes.
I was like, thank you, my friend. Love what you're doing as well. Anyway, we got a lot to get to today. So it is Monday. It's September 18th. Let's rock and roll. Like, subscribe, share the show. You can send us stars. We will get things rocking. So we'll go ahead and start it now, Joe.
Would you like to kick it off with the commercials?
What do we do? Yeah. How long are the commercials again? 3 minutes?
3 minutes or so.
All right. Let's do the commercials. We'll jump back in. Oh, yeah. I've got to talk about that in a second, too. Tell you a Craig Berube story yesterday, too. I was with Craig Berube, the St. Louis Blues coach.
Nice.
We didn't actually
Nice.
call each other, meet up. We just kind of ran into each other.
That's cool.
All right, let's run the commercials. We'll get right back in just a second.
House has the largest selection of solid wood with the hottest new styles. Real furniture that's built to last, like our solid bedrooms, living rooms, and dining from Kincaid. Our volume enables us to save you a lot of money, especially during our solid wood sale. Plus, get free financing, fast free delivery, and free in-home design. So for solid wood, sweet styles, and solid service since 1964, shop over 3 football fields of furniture at Carroll House, because you like nice things.
Marco! Wait, what? No response? Hi, I'm Curtis Barks with Complete Auto Body and Repair, offering full service and auto repair to St. Louis and St. Charles. We are looking for someone to say polo. That's right, we are hiring. We want you now. If you would like to work in a well-paying environment, then you owe it to yourself to stop by one of our 6 Complete Auto Body and Repair locations. Will you help me find that missing person? Please call me directly at 636-488-HIRE. That's right, 636-488-4473.
Dad, and service.
Oh yeah, and service.
He fixes cars.
Kathy O. Big Strick, owner of Experienced Real Estate Partners with eXp, has been one of St. Louis, Missouri's highest selling groups for 26 years running. In that time, Kathy and her team have successfully assisted an incredible 4,000 families. So if you're thinking about buying, building, or selling, be sure to put Kathy's group and their experience to work for you, and you can expect to be moved. Just give her a call at 314-276-SOLD. That's 314-276-7653, or find her online at experience-re.com.
Attention, anyone who served, lived, or worked at Marine Corps Base Camp Lejeune between 1953 and 1987. Camp Lejeune's drinking water was dangerously toxic, and base personnel and their families have since suffered cancer and other illnesses. If you or a loved one spent time at Camp Lejeune and were diagnosed with cancer, you may be eligible for significant compensation. Call the Driscoll firm now. Consultations are free, and you won't pay a fee unless we get you the money you deserve. 1-800-805-4800.
As all of you may know, the home of the Cancel This studio is located at the all-inclusive private jet hangar, Strategic Air Services. Founded in Chesterfield, Missouri, they take pride in offering a meticulous approach to private aviation through services that fully manage your trip from takeoff to landing. Strategic Air Services is more than just storage for your aircraft. They offer state-of-the-art amenities to its members and guests. When you are not traveling, you have the luxury of enjoying their world-class gym, conference rooms, lounges, and so much more. Strategic Air Services offers an unparalleled luxury experience for all things private aviation. If you're looking for a new place to call home for your aircraft, give them a call today at 636-400-7601. Again, that's 636-400-7601, or visit their website at strategicairservices.net.
Winties in the Chesterfield Valley, if you don't know, is a family-owned business that has been around since 1994, serving some of the best chicken wings in town, no joke. Also known for their fresh burgers, pizza, and incredible smoked meat. Top-notch happy hour specials are included, plus live music every Friday and Saturday. Oh yeah, you can also enjoy their spacious heated covered patio. It's Winties in the Chesterfield Valley, 18,000 Chesterfield Airport Road.
Hello.
Are we back up now? We ready to rock and roll on Monday, September 18th?
Yes, we are.
All right. Happy birthday, everybody out there. It's my sister's birthday, too.
That's awesome. It is my daughter's gotcha day.
What does that mean?
Means that's the day we gotcha when we adopted you.
Oh.
Have you ever heard of that?
No, because I've never been in the adoption business.
Yeah. So when you adopt a kid, their gotcha day is almost as important as their birthday.
Oh, yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
What's your sister's name?
Patricia in the Tulsa, Oklahoma area.
Happy birthday, Patricia.
Yeah, real quick. Craig Berube, St. Louis Blues coach. Of course, where do you go? You go to Wendy's.
Of course you do.
The weather is incredible, and they've got a really good patio, TVs everywhere. There's a lot of great places throughout the St. Louis area, but Wendy's is awesome. So Craig was there with his friends, and I noticed this, but his NFL team, because I saw him cheering, is the Baltimore Ravens.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
I don't know why, but he likes the Baltimore Ravens. And when they were watching the TV, when Baltimore would score, he was cheering just like I was cheering for my Detroit Lions, who did not win yesterday. But, so it was interesting. We had Chiefs on, Lions on, Ravens on, a couple other teams on outside. So anyway, beautiful weekend. Hope everybody's enjoying it. Fall weather wherever you are throughout the country and across the world. This is cancelthisshow.com. I'm Vic Faust with Lizzie Sparks and Pro Joe in the house. It's September 18th. Of course, we're Cancel This Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. Central and all the time on our website at cancelthisshow.com. We do have several guests coming up again this week. I'll be letting you know who that is. And we're grateful for you guys jumping in and giving us ideas for stories, for ideas. This is a live podcast, which means it's like a live show. So it's a little different. We do everything: politics, interviews, cancel culture education, those stories that are out there, entertainment. We have fun. We do comedians because we're a live show. So it's a little bit different, than your average podcast. Yeah, we break down topics. But we also go live at the same point in time. So a little bit of something for everybody. And we do love it when people are able to join us live to help create that content, to help create that original morning content from 8 to 10 a.m. Central. And of course, for everybody who does listen after the show's over. And if you like what we do, let people know about us. Let advertisers, sponsors, people to jump in with us as well. Our numbers continue to grow. We're grateful for that. It's a steady climb, and that's what this is all about. Okay, it's September 18th from the weekend. We start with politics this morning. I give credit, massive credit. Anything? How was your weekend?
My weekend was great.
Okay.
It was all good.
Joe, you good? You all good?
Yeah, recorded another episode of my podcast and went great.
And the podcast is
Audio Inc.
Audio Inc. And
you get it audioincstl.com.
audioincstl.com, audioincstl.com. There you go. And it's about
arts and entertainment, music, comedians, same stuff. We're just recorded, and it's a more, I guess, relaxed or profane atmosphere.
Profane?
Yeah, there's a little bit of profanity.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay. All good in the hood, buddy. You got it. All right. That's Pro Joe. Okay. I give a lot of credit to Donald Trump, and here's why. Donald Trump went on Meet the Press. That's right.
Yes,
he is not afraid to go out and talk with the enemy. And I'm sorry, they are. National media is an enemy to Donald Trump, but he's not afraid. He's not afraid. And he addressed some massive issues. And I mean, massive issues. I know that January 6th, studiers, people, sympathizers, were excited to hear him say that if he's president, he might pardon Enrique Tarrio, who got the crazy sentence, which he never, ever should have gotten when he wasn't even there, quote, organizing January 6th.
Right.
We already know that Joe Biden not only will he not talk to Fox or anybody else, he doesn't even talk to his own people. So Trump sat down with Kristen Walker yesterday, and she was all about the liberal talking points. She's a liberal. She did a debate before. She's not very good at being unbiased. I'm sorry, Chris. You're not very good when it comes. I mean, it was like I'm going to try to, like Lizzie said the word gotcha. It was all about gotcha. I'm going to try to get you. No, Don, no. It was all like going after you. Instead of just trying to find truth, you can ask a question in a polite way. It doesn't have to be, I'm coming after you. Continually interrupted him. But Trump does this. He's not afraid. It's why he's the best person to be president. And it's not even close. We all know there's nobody who's a better man to be president or a better woman to be president than Donald Trump right now. I mean, come on.
Right. There isn't. There's no choice. There's no choice.
Let's take off our biased hats for a second and look at the most qualified people to handle the situation that we have in 2024.
Correct. And
it's
who
Donald
cares if you
Trump
don't
and
like
crickets.
him?
There is nobody else. We would love other candidates,
We would.
Republicans, Democrats, Independents. There aren't. There just aren't. And the only person who can get any sort of traction is RFK, and the Democrats won't let him play.
No, they won't. They won't even give him Secret Service.
So, oh, Kathy said real quick, anybody see Damar Hamlin on the field yet? Yeah, me either. They, quote, hired him for the team. It is interesting what you say there, Kathy, when it comes to a conspiracy. There are still people who feel that Damar is a fake, but his teammates would know. Okay, so he, quote, made the team, but I said he would never play it down again. Then I apologized, but guess what? He hasn't seen the field.
No, he hasn't.
And he won't see the field. He is there to try to sell tickets for the Buffalo Bills. Interesting that you brought that up as I look at the live chat. So that may be another subject for another day. But once again, I just still think back to his interview with Michael Strahan when he refused to answer the question about whether being double boosted and everything else with cupcakes was a problem and how there's people that still think that he's a fake, but whatever. It is what it is from that standpoint. Okay. So Trump goes on Meet the Press because he's not afraid. Biden and all the other Democrats, well, I mean, Gavin Newsom is not a presidential candidate at this point, even though some people think he is. He went on Hannity and he admitted wrongdoings. At least he admitted that there's problems. Even Trump has said, yeah, I've got no problem with Gavin Newsom. He's like, I've actually gotten along with him. Anyway, Trump goes on Meet the Press because he's a leader, because he is unafraid, because he is battle tested, because he knows he has truth on his side, because he knows he will embarrass anybody that tries to come after him with all the crap that they do. Donald Trump, thank you. Thank you for being a man of character, integrity, and not being afraid to go across enemy lines and talk, because people need to hear. People need to see, because they don't see that with the current person who was selected, not elected, selected for the position of president of the United States. Donald Trump doing his best. Donald Trump putting things in motion. Here's the one thing that really, really gets me. Well, we'll start with Biden's lies. Here's Donald Trump with Kristen Welker, who was an NBC host. What he talks about Biden.
Could I say one thing? Look at all the lies he's told over the last couple of weeks. He said he was at the World Trade Center, and he wasn't. He said he flew airplanes, right? He didn't. He said he drove trucks, and he didn't. Everything he says is like a lie. It's terrible.
Mr. President,
even his handicap in golf, he said he's a 6. He's not a 6.
I want to stay focused on you
Okay.
for the purposes of this interview, okay? Because it's important that we hear from you about all of this.
Well, I'd like you to, but you keep interrupting me. Could I say one thing? Look at all the lies.
Okay, Vic, that's what I'm going to say. When you start talking and I don't agree with you, I'm just going to go, okay, and make sure my head goes like that. I mean, how condescending was she?
She's not very good at her job.
She really is.
She hasn't been very good at this role in a long time. But here's the thing. If you try to go after Trump and you interrupt him, he's going to make you look weak.
Yes.
She's weak. She just came across as being weak in that role. Because you'd have to watch the full interview to get the full context, because it's not that you have to be friendly, but there's a matter of being polite and then being persistent in the questioning as well. Don't interrupt people. And she did. She kept interrupting. If somebody doesn't answer the questions, then you might need to interrupt. But we already know her talking point. She's with NBC. They're all just they're blowhorns for the liberal Democrats, which is sad. I just want things to be fair. I want all voices to be heard. Just be kind, be nice. But to me, the biggest thing that came out of Meet the Press yesterday with Donald Trump was the fact that he lit Nancy Pelosi's ass up. Okay, this is why Nancy Pelosi wants to come back and run, because we have been told by viewers, listeners, people, she doesn't want all the secrets to come out.
Correct.
She, at 83, 84, fresh new facelift, lips pulled as tight as can do. Her tongue's like falling out of her mouth. I mean, seriously, when you get your face pulled that tight, I've been told, like, I mean, your tongue has to go somewhere.
Yeah, I really like that.
And-
Yeah, they like that.
Register. That's not true.
She just needs to go sit in her big house in San Francisco and enjoy the crime that she created and have a good time and get the hell out of there.
Her eyes and her tongue are like popping out of her head. Anyway, Trump lit her ass up. He put her on notice about J6. Flat out says she 100% is responsible for J6. And I have a tendency to agree with this because of what happened in the days leading up. Here's Donald Trump on Nancy Pelosi and J6.
I want to know who you called
By the way,
on that day.
Nancy Pelosi. I
wanna
don't
talk
have.
about
Why
that
would
day.
I tell you that? Listen,
Don't wanna
Nancy
talk about
Pelosi
that?
was in charge of security. She turned down 10,000 soldiers. If she didn't turn down the soldiers, you wouldn't have had January 6th.
Did you call military or law enforcement?
What?
Did you call military or law enforcement at the moment the Capitol
I'm
was
not going
under
to
attack?
tell you anything. Let me put it this way. I behaved so well. I did such a good job. Nancy Pelosi turned down 10,000 soldiers. If she didn't do that,
But
and now
Nancy
I understand.
Pelosi doesn't have the
I
authority
understand
that
the
you
police
have as
testified
commander in
against.
chief, though.
Listen to me, Kristen. Listen to me. I understand that the police testified against her. The chief very strongly against her. Capitol Police, great people. They testified against her, and they burned all the evidence. Okay, they burned all the evidence. They destroyed all the evidence about Nancy Pelosi.
What do you say to people who wonder why you as commander-in-chief, you have authorities that Nancy Pelosi doesn't have as commander-in-chief?
No, she has authority over
Why
the
didn't you
Capitol.
send help in that moment, though?
Frankly, just so you understand, I assumed that she took care of it. She turned down.
So when you realized that the National Guard wasn't coming?
Well, you don't realize anything until quite a while. National Guard not coming. I asked it to be there 3 days in advance, and she turned it down.
She says that request was never officially made.
Oh,
just
stop
so
it.
you know.
Let me just tell you.
Let me ask you
The
about
mayor of
pardons,
let me
Mr.
tell you.
President.
The mayor of D.C. gave us a letter saying that she turns it down. Okay, we have it. Nancy Pelosi also was asked, and she turned it down. The police commissioner
I'm talking
of
about the
Capitol
day of,
Police,
though.
wait a minute.
Yep.
Capitol Police said that he wanted it, and Nancy Pelosi wouldn't accept it. She's responsible for January 6th.
Mr. President.
Nancy Pelosi's responsible.
Mr.
And the
President, you're the
J6 committee
president, though. You
refused to interview
You have
her.
authorities that no one else has as the commander-in-chief. Do you think you showed leadership on that day?
Yes, absolutely, I did.
Okay.
Okay.
She's really insufferable. She's one of those people that listens to respond and not listens to understand.
I mean, this is my problem. This is why, and like I said, I've got liberal friends, I have Democrat friends, but it's a problem when you don't want to listen to understand, but you're listening to respond.
Yep.
Which she did. Nancy, we all know. And yes, I did hear that too, as Aaron said that Nancy Pelosi even had a documentary crew on hand because it was all a setup. We know. If she's denying National Guard, 10,000 National Guard, we know she's hoping at worst case scenario for something bad to happen. At worst case. And I always look at the person who is doing the stuff from the get-go. Who started the shit? Who started the fight? Who started the argument? Who started the issue? Yet she wants to go after Donald Trump after the fact when Nancy Pelosi was in charge and everybody's trying to figure out what the hell's going on. Anyway, Donald Trump, knowing what the left is trying to do to him, still willing to go on Meet the Press, or as Glenn calls them, Meet the Depressed, and help their ratings. And I'm sure I haven't looked at any ratings. I haven't seen it. And of course, boost them, give them a boost because of what happened. It is all Trump. There's nobody else. He was great. Nancy Pelosi, you are responsible for January 6th because you did turn down. There is a letter that shows that you turned down the National Guard, and you did it on purpose, and you did it with your cronies, and you do not love America. And if you did, you would have accepted and been as safe as possible, just like you've been and were ever since, putting up gates all around DC and fences and everything else because you knew what was going to happen. And or we already seen the video. We know the rioters The quote, just liberal judges and their sentencing of people who weren't even there. Owen Schroyer, I mean, his 60 days in jail for just saying 1776 protectors, and he didn't even go into the Capitol. Give me a break. Terry says it's all part of the plan. Yes, it is. And that's what's happened. But thank God for Donald Trump doing that. And I'm glad that he went on Meet the Press. I'm glad.
Me too.
He's not afraid. And I'm sorry, Democrats. I'm sorry, my friends. You know that Trump blows Biden out of the water, and there's nobody else that's even trying to run for president right now, that could even step in the ring with Donald Trump. There is nobody.
And they're still, we say it all the time, but they're just so scared to death of him coming back. They can't stand it.
What do you mean by right now?
Yeah, you know exactly what I mean right now, because I still don't think he's running for president.
A lot of people do not think he's running for president.
Even NBC, Kristen Welker and all her liberal, left-leaning, hardcore, progressive, left Democrats and their polls have admitted that Donald Trump is leading Biden in their latest polling.
Correct.
They say Trump has a 1% lead, which is actually probably like 20%. When you consider the source from NBC, they're admitting it. It's not good. I mean, even thank God. And Kevin McCarthy, Speaker of the House, even came out. And some people would be like, "Oh, of course, you're stating the obvious," but sometimes it needs to be stated just so everybody knows. Even he came out and said, "People, we already know who the Republican candidate's going to be. There is nobody else. It's Donald Trump." Thank you, Speaker McCarthy. I'm glad he said it. You may have thought that it sounded dumb, Lizzie. I don't know. Don't want to put words in your mouth, but I'm glad that he came out and said that.
Yeah. Yeah.
He said what we already know, but he made it official. Those are things in life where something's going to happen, but you need a figurehead to just kind of make it official. Yeah, he's kind of made it official.
Yeah, he's made it official.
And of course, Trump says, as he said with Meet the Press, he said with Megyn Kelly's interview last week, he would still run from prison. Yeah. Because Megyn Kelly flat out asked him, "You're facing lots of charges in all liberal areas with all liberal juries, with all liberal judges. Doesn't that worry you?" And he's like, No.
He said he sleeps at night. He doesn't have sleepless nights even worrying about whether he's going to jail or not. He's not worried about it.
I know that's what he says.
Well, and that's good. And even if he is worried about it, a good chief, a good leader shows no fear. I mean, you know, deep down, everybody has a little bit of fear, but he tries to show none. And that's what you need, because we don't need a bunch of fear mongering going on right now. We don't need that. We need strength.
Paul says, don't trust McCarthy at all. You don't have to. Talks a big game consistently, milks what his plans are until he's forced to act. But I think we all know, especially right now, it's Trump. And I'm glad that he said it. I'm not being sarcastic, Jessica says, or truly don't know. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, they were having a conversation on the.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Yeah.
Once again, Aaron says, even with the situation of January 6th, the premise was that it was a violent riot. What do you expect when you allow violent riots from 2014 to 2020 in the names of BLM and Antifa?
Yep.
As we saw come through as well. And then, of course, you have something, now we're going to come back and go for whatever we have to do. Chris says, hey, Pelosi, I think he's talking about Pelosi. She has no clue that the Speaker of the House is in command of the Capitol Police. She didn't in that interview. She had no idea. She had her talking points, and the best interviews are ready for rebuttal pending what the interviewer says. Not, I'm getting back to my question line, my timeline. I'm getting back to my timeline, my question. No, you have a conversation. I mean, it's basic interviewing 101, but
right. And she didn't do a great job of that. And exactly like Chris is saying, that the president isn't in charge of that in DC. And that day, and we've talked about it before, that particular day, insiders that were in DC knew Nancy Pelosi was planning not to have the National Guard. And Mike Pence was with her on that. He knew too. They hoped that this riot got out of hand. They put the agitators in there to rev everybody up so they can do exactly what they did. They'll do anything. They'll do anything not to have Trump back in. They don't want their secrets exposed. They're so corrupt that Donald Trump is probably the only one. I think DeSantis could have done it too. It's just not his time. I'm not ruling him out. But if Trump is in 2024 and then DeSantis is in 2028, they're scared to death of that. Scared to death of that.
Well, the Democrats are, because they know, as we've gone through this so many times, that Trump is dominating. It's not a 1% lead. He is dominating. It's their worst nightmare because he's not afraid to put it out there. He's not afraid. People hate him. People want to say whatever they want. I don't like Donald Trump. He's so bad. Give me a break. Whatever. So much so that billionaire George Soros, the Democratic donor, you wonder, he is responsible, he and his son and their organization responsible for the attorney generals across the country who are all, I repeat, all about illegal immigration, all about keeping people out of prison. And I'm not making things up. A new idea, reimagining of policing. We've seen where that has gone. Kim Gardner quit. George Soros funded, told us on our radio show as well. They've made no bones about it. They're out there now. Guess what they're doing? George's son, I can't remember his name right now, even said as recent as 2 weeks ago, he was shifting all of their money and their ideas now towards defeating Donald Trump in 2024. Okay. The byproduct of that is now their facility, their company, whatever you want to call them, their donating platform, are now funding a large group of Gen Z TikTok creators to support Joe Biden and simultaneously criticize conservatives trying to crush Donald Trump and anything conservative. And guess what? This is where you have to stand up and you have to meet them face to face on TikTok. You need younger people. This is where I've always called out conservative people. And I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to go total Eli Drinkwitz on the crowd for booing Brady Cook. Republican donors, Republicans with money, you need to support your causes. We have seen firsthand that Republicans talk a big game.
They sure do.
But when it comes to advertising, when it comes to doing a lot of things that need to be done, they're not spending money.
No, they're not, because they're scared.
They're just not. It's unfortunate. It's frustrating. People can do whatever they want with their money, their time, their resources. But you need to promote conservative causes. You need to promote conservative shows. You need to promote what's happening. The Democrats are. George Soros is. They're getting behind their candidates, their message, and it takes money. It takes money to reach the masses. And they're using social media, and they're going to do a great job again, as they already have, of reaching younger generations, 18 to 35. And there are voters there, and there will be voters. Trust me. I have a feeling that 2024, even though I don't know who's going to be on the Democratic side, I feel it's going to be Trump on the Republican side, will be the largest turnout that we've had in my lifetime.
Absolutely.
I just feel it will be.
Yeah, it will be. It will be for sure. Because, your point is very valid.
You've got to support the causes. They're doing that now with Soros. Go ahead and then I'll give you some of the totals.
Yeah, no, your point is very valid. That you talk to anyone that has a conservative, show, podcast, anything that would need support by a conservative business, they're all struggling because conservatives want to hold their money close to their vest. Hence conservative. Okay, I get that. But then they're also just scared, and we've hit that all the time. They don't want to be ridiculed because conservatives don't call out other conservatives unless they just don't agree on the same candidate or something like that. But conservatives have got to put their money where their mouth is, and they don't do it.
From Kimberly, she said, just like your guest, the super popular conservative aunt who we had on Friday, who is tired of trying to deal with people trying to cancel him because he's a gay Republican. Just like he said, Kimberly says he remembers from our show Friday, Democrats have celebrities speaking out. Republicans have a few more. They just don't get the attention on all the mainstream media outlets because they're biased. He's like, and then Republicans have people like Mike Lindell selling pillows and slippers.
Yes, he's right.
And I'm not trying to rip Mike Lindell, but he's good for a certain age people, but he's not for 40 and under. He's just not.
Correct. Yeah, because you don't see a millennial going, oh my gosh, I have to have a My Pillow. And I think Mike Lindell's great. And trust me, in our house, we have My Pillows. But there has to be somebody else besides just the Mike Lindell.
And the money needs to go to a lot of different causes.
Absolutely.
It needs to be all over social media.
Yes, yes.
TikTok, podcast,
Yes.
You name it, Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Facebook as much as you can. That's where the cause is. If you're really upset, then do something about it. Put dollars towards things, put stories towards things, put your time and effort towards these things. But I'm telling you, the way you reach people, and Eric talks about it a lot too, is social media.
Yes, it is. That's how this election is going to be won.
Know it.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they're hitting, and they're going to hit the abortion issue with all young females. They're going to hit it hard. This was an investigation that was going on with the New York Post, by the way, because if you look back at some of the totals back in 2020 and 2021, the Open Society Foundations, that's the Soros Foundation, by the way, donated $5.5 million to what's called Accelerate Action Incorporated. It was a nonprofit organization. And then they gave at least $300,000 to another nonprofit for Gen Z Change.
Yes.
And according to Gen Z for Change's website, the 500, that's a lot of people to hit social media across this country. The 500 or so, quote, young and enterprising individuals are focusing their priorities on climate justice, eliminating all barriers, whatever that means, of entry to the United States, being kind to our fellow mankind, and reallocating local police budgets to other social issues to help people in the communities, not police. Hopefully that backfires. Funding social and health programs for people, because that's the way you're going to deter crime.
Yeah. It sure is.
According to Gen Z's
Unreal.
for Change's account on Twitter, now known as X, the group was also invited to the White House to witness the signing of the Inflation Reduction Act. So we're still going to see how Gen Z for Change is going to disperse the Soros cash to its influencer activist, but it's coming.
It is coming. They're already revved up, getting ready to do it. And we're behind definitely in the social media part with the conservatives. We've got to reach, and Eric does say it all the time, we've got to reach, not just the millennials, we've got to reach Gen X. We've got to reach them. And conservatives do a very bad job of doing that. Very bad.
People say his son, George's son, is even worse. He may be. Glenn says, but guys, if you speak out like Lindell, you'll get surrounded at BK by the FBI.
Yeah.
Maybe, but guess what? When you bring up now, Mike Lindell people went after him because of J6 and movies and everything and things he was doing from that standpoint. You've got to do whatever you can, wherever you can, Glenn.
Mm-hmm.
The money needs to be out there for people to do the kind of stories and that they need to do, to get the staffs that they need to do.
Well, and Mike Lindell, I really like him. But, and I am going to say a big but.
And I know where you're going with this.
And I don't want to piss a lot of people off.
It's where I lost a little bit for Mike Lindell.
It was like he would go on OAN and it would be like, everybody be there at 7:00. And I've got the proof and all of that, but he didn't come with it. Now I know he has it. And he has proof. And there was definitely election interference, but he would have these very big, OAM would give him a whole 2-hour slot. And all my friends, we would get our popcorn and we would sit in front of my TV and we'd be like, okay, Mike, tell it. And then he didn't. He just went off on some other tangent.
We also said the president's going to be president.
Yes.
And
yes.
He's still, those are things, and not to turn it into Mike Lindell.
Correct. Because I like him. I do. So I don't want to bash him, but that's where the Mike Lindell lost some credibility with a lot of good conservatives.
Yeah. And I see why.
Yeah.
I do.
I do too.
the money that there needs to be programs, or there need to be more programs or outreaches for people to try to reach younger voters, because they are going to vote 18 to 40, whatever it takes. Information, shows, getting people going, getting the truth out there. It's difficult to change people's bad. I mean, I hope there's more and more people seeing what's actually happening with Joe Biden. And I'm not ripping all liberals and Democrats, because it's their team. We have been divided into teams, whether we like it or not. We have two teams to go to. And we know that independents don't really have a team, even though we like to say it every now and then. You'll get an independent who rises up and can get enough votes, but it's never long lasting, and it's never big enough to form a team, because it's meant to be that way. And I'm not going off the reservation by saying that we are set up to be divided. Two teams, take your picks and go from there. And I'm sorry when you have Mitch McConnell and people like that, and I will say the word rhino, and everybody gets tired, but it is. It's a game. It's a shell game, especially when you have as serious situations that we do, and you have a guy like Mitch McConnell doing what he's doing, refusing to talk about the good things that are happening from a conservative standpoint. So with that being said, as Mary says, we have a varsity and a JV when it comes to politics. And she's right. We've got to have more money put into conservative causes, to come up with ways, social media ways, to reach the conservative side, or at least get those messages out there over and over and over again to younger kids.
Yes.
Or not even kids, just a younger, and I say kids demographic, I'll say 40 and under.
Yes.
On social media, all over these places, continuing to get the word out. Now, there are lots, and I repeat, lots of conservative podcasts out there. There are. But we need to do them in a quality where it's getting out and the messages are ringing and reverberating with the public.
And we have
and more money put towards these things.
Yes. And going back to what we said before, we conservatives have to be very careful with the truth and tell the truth, because people on the chat line are saying things like Sidney Powell and a lot of people who would made all these promises to us, like, okay, President Trump's going to come back on this day, and this is going to happen, and I have the proof, and I have this, and they just didn't come up with the goods. So it made people feel like that the conservatives as a whole were really far right wackadoo, and then disappointed when the truth came out. Now, in all fairness to them, I don't know if they were scared so much so they didn't come out with the truth that they have. It's very obvious when you watch 2,000 Mules and the movie Rigged and all of that there was election interference and ballot harvesting and all of that. But we were hijacked, and we've got to be very careful. And if I don't say anything else that you hear me today, is we've got to be very careful that we speak the truth, because our party has been hijacked by a far right group of wackadoodles that have come out, and I don't know if they're really Democrats that are acting like Republicans, but they're coming out and making us look like a bunch of Fruit Loops.
There are some of those. I mean, there's
a lot. But that's what the independents see, Vic. That's like all of us that are diehard conservatives who really are in the game and know what's going on. We see that clearly. But the majority of people just live their life, as Eric says, and they're mainly independent, maybe right-leaning, and they just go, God, those Republicans have Sidney Powell and the pillow dude and all that. They're just crazy.
Well, I mean, they're not really a part of anything massive right now.
That's true. That's true. But that's how we're still seen. We're still seen like that.
Well, I mean, when you have, the media will make it out to be that way, because it's mostly a liberal media.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't help when you have Marjorie Taylor Greene. I mean, she's slowed down a little bit, but I mean, she said a lot of wild things too, and it doesn't help when she's out there. And then you have Lauren Boebert and her date or husband or whoever else in a theater last week and performing or allowing, I mean, they weren't performing sexual acts, if you've seen the video, if you guys know the story, but she's very outspoken. And Lizzie, I don't know if you know the story or not with Lauren Boebert, if you haven't seen her. I mean, they got kicked out of a theater, and video shows her and the man next to her, like feeling each other up and touching each other all over the place on video. And it is, and of course the video should not be out there.
Correct.
It's a salacious video, and Americans like salacious things.
Yes.
But it doesn't help when she is a very bombastic out there. I'm coming after you. I'm part of the Freedom Caucus. And, and then she's in a theater her and another guy going to town on each other. Unfortunately.
Right. And, I've got mixed feelings on that. I wish she hadn't have done that. I wish she wouldn't have done that. However, look at what the liberals can do. They can, sexually abuse children and walk around acting crazy, and they're held to a different standards. Now, I'm not saying that movie thing was right. And if you are a conservative, you are held to more virtuous.
We're just trying to be fair. We are.
We have to tell the truth. I was very disappointed that she did that because it gave the mainstream media fodder. I don't think most conservatives really give a hoot what she did in the movie, but it gave them fodder to talk about what was going on in the theater, and then she gets kicked out.
Yeah, and that's why you have to be careful because there's video, and if you're a Republican, you're held to a higher standard.
Yes.
We've talked about this before because national media will do whatever they can to destroy anybody that's coming against them.
Right.
And that's another reason why people don't want to run for politics, which is why it's amazing that Trump's willing to go through all the crap that he's going through.
Well, yes. And Tara even says on here, it was gross and inappropriate. And if you're going to be a conservative, you need to act like it. And that behavior was disappointing. And I agree with you, Tara. It really is disappointing.
Do you want to see it, Lizzie?
I do. I do. I do. Our listeners want to see it too, because not everybody saw this, because you had to dig deep to see it at first, and then it kind of blew up. So yeah, I want to see it. You got it, Pro Joe? You got it over there?
I think you're sending it to me now.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
We should see. And and I do feel bad for some conservatives because they're still going about doing their life. And I'm talking about conservative politicians, and they're not doing any of those things. And people dig up dirt on them that isn't even true. So I think as a conservative, you don't give them any food for fodder and go in the movie theater and act like that. And if you're a mama, and you know what? I don't know if Boebert is a mom. I don't know, but you have to remember that if you're doing those things, people are going to scrutinize you, and they're going to look at you, and somebody's going to get you on film. And at some point, you're going to have to tell your kid or your grandkid, yeah, that's what I did when I was a politician. I was groping some guy in the movie theater, and then I got kicked out as I was eating my popcorn. So, and Tara's saying she is a mom. I thought she was.
And vaping.
Yeah, come on. And it's like school teachers. School teachers have a life outside of their school, but you got to be careful. When you walk out that door, you're always on. You're always on. You're only not on in your house. So you got to be careful what you do. And everybody has a camera. Everybody has their phone that they're going to take a picture of you doing crazy shit.
Aaron has a great point. He's like, what she did was wrong, but the hypocritical overreaction by the left was ridiculous.
Oh, I agree.
And it's only because she is part of the Freedom Caucus, and because she has spoken out, and because she's been willing to stand up like a Marjorie Taylor Greene did, which is why there's a higher standard put on you. If anything, it should be Hunter Biden, Joe Biden all day long.
Absolutely.
With everything that's going on. Everything. Are you playing it yet, Joe? Is that? Oh yeah, it
just
is.
Started it.
Okay, I see. And then it's interesting because then they put these videos together. They focus on them. Her and I don't know if that's her husband or date. They ended up getting kicked out. They said that they were too loud. She admitted to being too loud, but also she was vaping. And there's the vape. That's supposed to be vaping.
She blew it right in the people in front.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
If I was in front of her, I'd be very pissed because I'm not a vapor.
Right. And that is rude. You're trying to watch a movie, and then somebody's singing real loud and vaping whatever, and then, feeling their date or their husband or whoever that is up. That is just actually very immature is what that is. And that shows what the left has been trying to say about her is that she's immature. Now, politically, I agree with everything that she says.
She's apologized.
Yeah, she has. She did apologize.
She had no choice.
Yeah. And like here, it says, it's true. I did thoroughly enjoy the show, and she got kicked out, and she's since apologized for her behavior. I understand that.
She looks like a fun time.
She does look like a fun time.
Sorry, I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to agree.
Yeah. She probably is a fun time. You just don't want to sit in front of her in the movie theater. But yeah. Okay. So Chris is saying she's getting a divorce. That's not her husband. Just think, okay, I'm always going back to the mama thing. She's getting a divorce, and now her kid's going to have to deal with that. I don't know. I mean, and so many people on the chat line are too saying things like, if this was a liberal, we would never have heard about it.
Of course, you're right. Because
So
there's
they
a
are
double
right.
standard.
It is a double standard. We would never have heard about it. It's no big deal. But Lauren is, she is a badass politically, and she had pictures of herself with her kids and, as Tara said, with their guns, which is cool. I mean, we've got pictures of our kids doing the same thing. So
I don't even think that video showed the
groping.
loving, touching.
Yeah, that was really a
squeezing.
disappointing version of that video.
Yeah, that was
actually.
a PG rated.
Oh,
Yeah.
We do have some kids that watch the show, but it's easy to find.
Like Aaron says, Beetlejuice turns her on. I guess so. Beetlejuice does it for her.
You'll see a lot of over the clothes action.
Yeah.
Going on.
Oh, good old
in
Lord.
Beetlejuice. But you just have to know wherever you are, there's going to be cameras. There's going to be things that are going on.
Yes. Yes.
Dear God. Dear God, dear God, dear God. This is cancelthisshow.com. I'm Vic Faust with Lizzie Sparks and Pro Joe here Monday through Fridays, 8 to 10 a.m. Central, and all the time on our website, cancelthisshow.com. Derek's like, Vic, come on, get with the program. It's called Heavy Petting.
Yeah, come on, Vic, get with the program.
Heavy petting.
Heavy petting. That sounds like you're going to the zoo. I'm going to heavily pet my cow.
I was just going to say, it sounds like a very interesting zoo.
Yeah, it does sound like an interesting zoo. Heavy petting. And like Jay says, who cares?
Yeah,
and that's right. Really, who does care?
Well, here's the problem. When you're a political figure and you're a Republican, you already know when the media controls the messaging, you are held to a higher standard.
That is true.
And it's not going to change. And Hunter Biden and his crew will continue to get away with all kinds of shit.
Yep.
He's suing the IRS now, alleging that agents tried to target him and they tried to embarrass. He's one of the worst human beings living on the planet.
He really is. He probably is.
But the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, does it?
No, not usually.
And
wow.
it makes a whole lot of sense as to why. So we'll see what happens with Lauren and her. She was, she barely won her election. A lot of pundits thought that she was on the edge of getting voted out as it is. So I don't know, but man, oh man, if you're a Republican, they're going to find a few of you and you're going to have all kinds of situations that you're going to have to deal with. Just ask, let's see here. Anyway, it is what it is. So when it does come, here's another interesting thing, guys. This kind of bugged me a little bit and people will be like, Vic, get with the program. I'm for maybe I could do maybe business casual, but Senator Chuck Schumer has eliminated the Senate dress code.
Well, you know why you did that, don't you?
Does this resonate with anybody? So now you don't have formal dress code anymore in the Senate.
Yeah, that's awful. And he's doing it for people like Fetterman, because Fetterman's making him look like a fool. And so instead of rising to the occasion, they're dumbing themselves down to these really inappropriately sloppy dressed people. And you know who started that was Obama. Obama started it with no tie. And then Trump came back in and a lot of people said, he lost decorum for the White House. Well, not in the clothing anyway. He was always dressed up. And then now you got Schumer. I could go on and on for days about Schumer. I saw him in person during the inauguration, and you talk about a nasty human being.
Well, we know that.
I know. He's just, I'm not even going to get on that soapbox, but it really is for people like Fetterman.
He's unlike the good New Yorkers I've met.
Right. He's not
He is
good.
a nasty, he's the kind of New Yorker I was reminded about growing up. Stay away from the hardcore Schumer types.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Fetterman coming in and all kinds of clothes and like sweatshirts and
a hoodie. I'm all for a good hoodie, but could you imagine being a politician and you come in and I love my flip-flops and I love my hoodie, but you don't, if you want to be in politics and you're wearing a hoodie while you're in DC, that just looks ridiculous. Or really say here, we're in Missouri. If you would go into the Capitol and you've got flip-flops and you look really weird but who knows which Fetterman it is walking in the door? There's a couple of them too. So who knows?
I just
all
saw
of them are sloppy.
I don't know. I don't know if I want to see my politicians in sweats.
I know I don't.
I do think that your clothing,
yes.
your dress says a lot about you.
Correct.
There may be people who agree and there may be people who disagree. But looking at a guy like this Fetterman, when we show the picture of him walking in and he wears things like this. When he does show up, which is not all the time, and Mary says maybe nothing else fits him. He looks ridiculous. Yeah, that's why you have to get fitted clothes if you're a politician. So I don't know what's going to happen, what they'll be looking like, what kind of clothing they'll be wearing, but that's not what I want to see coming into Congress.
Yeah, look at that. I mean, that looks like you might be a dad that just left your kid's basketball game or something, but that you're not working on our country's problems. That's a problem. They're all sloppy. That's the thing, is Democrats, they're just sloppy and they get by with it. It's ridiculous.
Not all of them. Not all of them.
No, but you know what? They're going to condone that. You know that. Most of them are going to condone it because they have to go along with
Kevin
the program
says
of Schumer.
He screams Hoosier.
Oh, for sure.
Or he can no longer do zippers or buttons. No, he lost like 40, 50 pounds.
Yeah, he did. He's much thinner. I mean, he's definitely much thinner. But, you know, I just think like I said, we all like.
Great point, Jessica.
That.
Jessica feels it's the inherent degradation of our society.
Yes, Jessica's right.
There are several ways that can happen.
Mm-hmm.
The way you present yourself is another one of those.
Yeah.
Dumb down everything, lessen things, don't look as nice, don't care much about your look, your impression. And it also could be, and I know it's for all of them, but younger people, I'm not saying you have to be dressed up all the time to have success, but damn it, certainly, I do believe it says a lot about you.
Correct. And
especially in politics, not owning your own business or a crypto investor or whatever. But when it comes to politics, yeah, I almost feel like you do.
I agree. You do.
But I don't know. Jay says no dress code for the Senate, but one for visitors. That makes sense.
That's interesting.
By the way, other states don't recognize Missourians' definition of the word Hoosier.
That is true. They don't.
Go ahead, Jessica. Describe what a Hoosier is then. Let us know.
Right. That is true. A lot of, my dad would be sitting in his, Plymouth Fury and somebody cuts him off and he would call him a Hoosier. That's such a mid-Missouri type of thing to do. But she's right. Outside of Missouri, I think they don't think that's what a Hoosier is. I don't know.
Jessica says a redneck. What's a redneck in this day and age? I'm sorry, Jessica. You're going to another layer of what it actually means to be a Hoosier, a redneck, and to be called that.
Right.
Because
isn't the original definition of a redneck was just somebody that their neck literally got red because they worked outdoors and worked hard.
Yeah, in the 1800s.
Yeah, but now redneck, I agree with Jessica, a redneck and a Hoosier are supposed to be kind of the same thing. It's typically supposed to be a white person that's kind of rude and, cuts people off and that sort of thing.
Cuts people off? What?
Well, because that is, didn't one of your parents back in the 70s and early 80s, instead of flipping people off, they would go, Hoosier, when somebody cut you off? No, but did you grow up in Missouri at that period of time? Were you here?
Yeah.
And your dad didn't call somebody a Hoosier?
No.
Okay, well
Derek says a redneck is somebody who drinks Busch Light like himself.
There you go.
I've been told a Hoosier is somebody who acts like white trash, somebody who acts like they're low rent, is unclassy, has a foul mouth.
Right. Okay.
Once again, drinks Bud Light. No.
Yeah. Well, and Chris is saying Hoosier and redneck are not the same thing, and it's the definition in Illinois too. So everybody apparently does think Hoosier means something different.
That's why I brought it up.
I have a definition.
I want to hear it. Yeah.
It's those people that drive their Harley or their very loud raised up truck through your neighborhood as loud as they can.
I know.
Yeah.
That's a Hoosier.
That's funny. Yeah. Well, there you go. There is a lot. So if anybody wants to know the definition of Hoosier, listen to Cancel the Show, canceltheshow.com, and our listeners will tell you what a Hoosier is. They can't live the rest of their life not knowing that.
No.
Really important.
You might be a redneck. You remember the comedian, was that Jeff Foxworthy? If you did this and you did that. To me, that almost coincides with being whatever a Hoosier would be. But I always felt like it was just kind of just acting white trash, like stupid, low class.
Yeah.
Not dressing nice, just
that's probably
a lack of care for people, like just around, just kind of low rent.
Mm-hmm.
I say Bud Light again, or Busch Light, excuse me.
Busch Light, yeah. There you
As
go.
Derek says, the more you know. Funny.
The more you know. Derek, the classic Hoosier, drinking his Busch Light.
Now, Jay says pretty much anyone who isn't at your perceived level, sheesh. I don't know what that means. Terry says, ask someone from Indiana. Thought Hoosier was Indiana people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's
Michelle
the real
says that's
thing.
exactly what it is, Vic, in my opinion, too. I guess what I was saying.
Yeah.
Aaron says, get it right. It's Appalachian American. What? What the hell is that?
Oh, it's so funny. So that's why, I mean, just think, even amongst our own group of listeners, something means something different to everybody.
Well, the best shirt that we need to get, well, it was Eric's line, from Hooge to Booge. We used to talk about this on radio.
Mm-hmm,
or
mm-hmm.
from Booge to Hooge.
Mm-hmm. I love it. I love it. Donna's saying it's like trailer trash Barbie.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
And every part of the country, part of the country
bingo.
has different dialect and different ways, verbiage of describing things. Of course, in Missouri, people get called Hoosiers.
Yes. Yes.
Chris says Hoosier is more of a Midwest white trash and redneck thing. Redneck is more of a country bumpkin. Yes.
Yes.
No eating.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
So you can act like a Hoosier in many ways. And we were giving some, and I would love examples of people who feel what that would be. Hoosier. What's Hoosier?
Mm-hmm.
Joe gave us a great example. Driving your Ford F-150 loud, or your souped up Camaro as loud as you can, squealing through the neighborhood. Joe, you might be a Hoosier.
You might be a Hoosier.
I agree.
Just maybe.
Yeah, just might be. Mm-hmm. Yep. There you go. You just might be a Hoosier. And I bet every single person at one time in their life has done the Hoosiery thing, maybe drove too fast, revved their car up, or any of that. But you don't be Fetterman and go into politics with shorts and a hoodie.
Your language and vocabulary can make you a Hoosier as well.
Yes, it can. Yes, it can.
and we're talking like 4 or 5 a.m. They're heading to work and they're just in a hurry and they're like through the neighborhood.
Derek says rednecks wear overalls. Hoosiers do not.
Boy, we're getting quite a definition of it. Okay, so Glenn is saying mullets are making a comeback. So if you're a mullet, are you a Hoosier? Are you a redneck? Or are you just in your own category?
You could be all of that. Shelley, thank
Got
you.
it.
Shelley says classless white trash.
Okay, perfect.
I think I used both those
Perfect.
terms when I was describing
Yes.
a Hoosier.
Yes. Okay, so Mary says,
Can you
years
have money
ago-
and be a Hoosier?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Money doesn't necessarily mean anything.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Some of the biggest Hoosiers have a lot of money.
Well, Steve Strick told us last week they all go to Lake of the Ozarks.
Yes. Yes. If you want to see a bunch of Hoosiers, go to Lake of the Ozarks if you're ever in Missouri. It's a lot of fun. And I say that with love. I love Lake of the Ozarks. Love, love, love.
No, but it's a play. That's why they call it the Redneck Riviera.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Affectionately known as the Redneck Riviera.
I love it.
No, you just never know. Larry the Cable Guy.
He's more of a redneck.
He's a redneck. Definitely. There's a difference between a redneck and a Hoosier.
And Mark says Christmas lights still up in July and your lawn hasn't been mowed. Does that make you a redneck or are you a Hoosier?
That makes you a Hoosier.
Okay.
I say a Hoosier.
Okay. Yeah.
Definitely a Hoosier.
And
I'm sorry.
Yes. And Hoosiers and rednecks do not have to have a specific skin color, according to Derek.
Aaron, interesting point. And of course, we go nationally, and it depends. Every state has their own idiosyncrasies, so to speak. But Aaron says, from this conversation, it sounds like you're considered a, quote, Hoosier if you live outside the county. And what everybody lives in a county, Aaron, so I don't know what you mean by outside the county.
I think he's talking about St. Louis County.
Or yeah, okay, yeah. Have you ever heard of a jagoff? Well, because Carnos on Rumble says here in Pittsburgh, that's what they call Hoosiers would be more of a jagoff. Well, there you go.
That's awesome.
Don't you love it?
A jagoff is the person.
A jagoff? That's
not a jack off.
Right.
Jag-off.
That's the person driving in the fast lane doing the speed limit. That's a jagoff.
Exactly.
That is so funny.
Wait a minute. Who's from Pittsburgh saying that?
Oh.
Did you say that was?
It's CARNOSS. Carnos off on Rumble.
Oh, okay. Said that.
See, Rumble people are really incognito.
Pittsburgh.
They don't have the real names usually.
I've never heard. Oh, a jackalope. I've heard of a jackalope.
Jackalope. Yes.
I haven't heard of a jagoff. But what was the? Wait a minute. The jagoff was what again?
Well, you have to be in Pittsburgh. It's like Hoosier in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So there you go. So if you go to Pittsburgh, don't call him a Hoosier, call him a Jagoff. So there you go.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. We appreciate everybody jumping in and joining us on the show. By the way, Complete Auto Body Repair, CompleteAB.com, CompleteAB.com. Jill, tell us your story in just a second, please, or share it. Complete Auto Body Repair, Curtis Sparks and crew, CompleteAB.com. If you're looking for a job as a technician in sales, last week, Complete Auto Body and their towing companies had 62 jobs available. 62. Give them a shout. You can look them up at CompleteAB.com. Tell them that you listen to them on Cancel This and let them know what you're looking for. They'll take care of you. Also, from A to Z, when it comes to your car, everything that you need to know. Several of our listeners throughout the St. Louis metropolitan area go over to Complete Auto Body Repair. Also, Experience Realty and New American Funding, Steve Strict, Kathy Helbig Strict. If you're thinking about buying, selling a house, have any sort of a question, give their team a call. Let them know you listen to them on cancelthisshow.com. There's no pressure. They're not going to force you into anything. They're going to advise you. They're going to help you, just as Kathy does every Wednesday here on our show. They'll take care of you. Also, New Age Health Wellness. If you're looking for a little boost of energy, if you're looking to get blood work done, if you're looking to see what might be an option for you to lose some weight, Lizzie's doing that right now. She's continuing to tell us about her journey every week with New Age Health Wellness. You can check them out, newagehealthwellness.com. Vehicle Protection Group. Email Todd at vpcnetwork.com. Once again, Todd at vpcnetwork.com. They're still looking for a couple people to answer phone calls, inbound calls that they train you to answer, people calling, wanting to buy car warranties. You can make a lot of money. The percentages are very good. Their top earners are making six figures and they're not working holidays. There's two different shifts to choose from. Once again, Vehicle Protection Group. Go ahead and email Todd at vpcnetwork.com and let him know you heard about him on cancelthisshow.com. And of course, every Wednesday we do our Weed Wednesday segment. Green Light Dispensary. They're the largest dispensary in the state of Missouri. They're starting to branch out across the country as well. You can look them up, greenlightdispensary.com. You can also go to cancelthisshow.com, print off the coupon that we have that we show you right now for our viewers. Our listeners can go to the website and download the coupon, and then, of course, take it in for a discount when it comes to your products. This is cancelthisshow.com. I'm Vic Faust with Lizzie Sparks and Pro Joe. We had another crazy story that we have to get into right now. Mm-hmm. Lizzie, you know more about this than I do. And I'm going to go get a water.
Okay. What do you
And I want you to lead in, if you can, please, to this Missouri Department of Health story.
Absolutely.
Have you guys seen this? Okay. You basically have an investigation now by the Missouri Department of Health with a barista. Do we know where this barista was working?
Baldwin, Missouri.
Okay.
Yes.
That allegedly had a diaper. Well, it's not allegedly. We'll show you a picture. A diaper fetish.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And filmed himself putting cream in his pants.
Yes.
I can go get you a water, by the way.
And hold on a sec. You just outed me.
Sorry.
Thanks,
Joe.
I'm
so sorry.
I have to go to the damn bathroom as well. Thanks, Joe.
I can't do that.
I had it all figured out.
Joe, we already are going to be talking about cream in our pants. We don't need to know.
Stop, Lizzie.
Well, I'm just saying it's the truth. We don't need to know what you're going to the bathroom.
Lizzie, she's a dirty little thing.
No, I'm not. I'm just speaking the truth.
Closet freak.
Balls.
And Mary said that she knew that you really had to go to the
Balls.
bathroom, Vic.
Balls.
Yeah, put that in your balls.
Okay, can you set it up for me?
Yes, I will.
Vic's getting a water and he's going to the bathroom, so everybody knows.
Okay, so while Vic goes take a pee,
we do that so we don't have to take a break, so people can continue on the podcast.
That's right. Okay, so Vic's going to go pee because like on most podcasts, they're not always live, and then if you're on the radio, we have commercials, and Vic has to go pee. So we're just going to put it out there. He's getting a water and he's going to pee. But in the meantime, what we're talking about is. Many of you guys might have seen it. Even if you're not in the state of Missouri, something happened. And from what I can tell, it wasn't just recently, it was a couple years back. There was a gentleman named Jesse Scott Johnson who dresses like a woman and it's Jessica Scott Johnson or something like that now, is a barista or was a barista. And it will make you, if you don't already, don't want to go to Starbucks, because I know many of you don't go to Starbucks because of your belief and their values of what they do. Well, now we know that Starbucks has promoted behavior in the past. Well, now they have somebody that was right in their store. And what they were doing in their store is the Missouri Department of Health. And I'm not a huge advocate of the Missouri Department of Health. I've dealt with them working with child care centers. So, and here's one of the reasons. It took years for them to get to that. Now, I don't know if it's because someone didn't report it or it just usually takes them that long, these government agencies. So they're investigating Starbucks because there's a barista with a diaper fetish. And this guy dressed as a girl, I don't know if they're a transgender or transitioning or whatever, but it is a guy saying it's a girl.
Would you like me to pull up the photo first?
Sure, pull up the photo. Yeah, show the photo. Okay, so look at the photo, you all. This is a guy dressed as a girl, and was filming him herself while her was in the Starbucks. And they were filming himself dispensing whipped cream right into his diaper, right in the Starbucks in Baldwin, Missouri. For any of you, since we are a nationwide podcast.
That's gross.
It is gross. And Baldwin is a nice area.
That's the worst thing we've ever put on our air.
It is. Look at that. I mean, could you imagine that? Okay, so you go into the Starbucks and you knew you just had it. And that's who's been putting her pants, hands down his pants.
No, not still.
No, but they're investigating it. And
no,
because they kept it quiet.
We do have video.
Okay. You want to do the video now? I mean,
but keep in mind, if you go to a fast food place or any service, you're putting a lot of trust.
You are.
In a lot of different people.
Because a lot of them pick their boogers and all that kind of stuff.
We have to stop you. We have to muzzle you. Oh my God.
But it's the truth. Like Aaron says, drink up, Baldwin. I mean, you have to be careful where you go. I mean, think about it. You have to be careful where you go. And you know what? I'm getting on Vic's nerves, as you can clearly see, but I'm just speaking the truth.
No, you're not getting on my nerves. That picture of that dude is underwear.
Disgusting.
The story.
Yeah, no, I'm not really. But you know what? Think about it.
You pushed for this story today.
I did push for this story because people that go to Starbucks, I want you to understand what has been happening in your Starbucks if you're in West County. And you know, if it happens here, it's happening everywhere.
Well, it's not just there. It's in all places. That's
yes. And so think about it.
Oh, here's the video.
Okay, so here's the video. Pro Joe, play. Go ahead.
Oh!
That is so cool.
They use those things.
Yes, think about it.
I like how it says "Lives of TikTok" is the name of it.
Well, Lives of TikTok exposed this video.
Oh, okay, good.
And he's in his pants for a long time.
I doubt that's a conservative.
I'm
so
sure
this is a diaper. I'm trying to understand this. It's a diaper fetish.
Yeah.
Apparently there's such a thing. I tried not to go too far deep in looking in it because when I did this story, there's people that are disgusting that have a diaper fetish. You could be going to anywhere work and they could have a diaper on, and the stuff they're doing in their diaper is ridiculous.
I'm never eating out again.
We will never be the same.
I mean, look at this. Extra whipped cream, please.
Oh my God.
And like Jeannie's like, what the even hell is this? This is your guy in a Starbucks playing with his diaper.
For our listeners on the podcast, we're showing video of the.
I mean, look at this. Now he's dumping ice. Okay, so for listeners, he's got a diaper in a Starbucks, and it's clearly a guy dressed as something that's sort of supposed to look like a girl, and he plays for a long time.
Major health violation.
Yes.
That store could be shut down for that. I wouldn't doubt it. Glenn says scooters in West County rocks.
Yes, you want to go to like Five
Only girls
Brews
working there. Services like Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
There you go.
So is that why he had to act like a guy or act like a girl, because they mainly only hire women? I don't know. But you know what? Okay, go back.
No, that's a different store.
Okay, but going back to Lauren Boebert. Okay, so she was playing around, and I, chastised that too. But that's not even a quarter of how bad
see you
this
being
is.
like that, though, Lizzie.
You could see me being like that in the movie. Well, I might have been when I was 17 or 18, but now I would never do that.
Bendy says try 7 Brew.
Yes.
Kimberly with the line of the day. That's not pumpkin spice.
That's not pumpkin spice down there. And Michelle says he looks like a twisted sister. Yeah, he does. He twisted something.
Anyway, I mean, once again, you can't be surprised. I mean, yeah, there are video cameras and there are codes in place to try to take care of you as best as possible if you're eating out, if you're getting service out. But sometimes things happen. So anytime that you go somewhere, you have to remember you're trusting a lot of people who have a lot of issues, and there's a lot of effed up people in this world, as we know, because we have seen that and we continue to do those stories.
Well, and you know why they're getting more effed up, and I'm not going to go into this because this is not what we were going to talk about. But
please don't say something gross again.
No, this isn't gross.
Just tease.
It might be gross, but police officers, and I know a lot of them, are saying that people are doing more gross things than they've seen in years, and it's because the fentanyl coming across the border is more evident. So they're seeing people on drugs. Now that person, they're
not on fentanyl.
I was going to say that's an interesting take.
Well, but think about it. Police officers are saying they're seeing people in bathrooms all over the country doing weird things after they just shot themselves up in the arm.
That's a lot of homeless people.
Yes. But I mean, they're doing it everywhere. That guy is not normal. He either has to be a drug addict, but why is there so much mental illness these days? Is it the drugs?
Well, there's a lot of people that are crazy. They just have an outlet now with video.
That's
social
good
media.
point.
I mean, this stuff's been going on for a long time.
I really don't think that that's drugs, to be honest with you.
What do you think that is?
I think that that's just
a fetish.
Yeah, that's a big fetish, but that's definitely somebody.
And also people looking for attention.
Yeah, somebody who doesn't.
Why they videotaped them.
They don't know how to keep their private life at home.
Very good point. And you're right. That's a good point.
No,
Both of you.
It's a mental illness.
Somebody was filming that. So that's two kind of
he
sickos.
He was filming himself.
That makes me feel better that there wasn't an onlooker.
No.
Okay. It's the so-called normal people as well that are doing it, and drugs plus mental health issues is what Paul said. And I agree. We have a whole lot of weirdness coming on.
I blame the cupcake.
You know what? Yes. A lot of people. Yeah. I mean, people don't act normal often if they've had several. I saw somewhere on social media, speaking of that, bragging, and is a good business owner. So I'm not going to mention the person's name at all. A wonderful human, but he really enjoyed getting the shots. I mean, literally got excited about it. And was asking people after he's had numerous on Facebook about, hey, are you going to get the next variant that's coming out by Pfizer? And you wouldn't believe
the next variant.
Well, okay. The next variant is coming out.
You mean the next flavor?
The
next flavor?
The next flavor that's going to combat the variant. Thank you for correcting me. And the people on his feed were like dead serious. Oh my gosh, I've gotten 6. I can't wait for the next one coming out. And they're giddy about it. And This is a really great human that him and his friends are all excited about this. And I'm like, oh, Lord have mercy.
I heard a commercial on the way here today about the new jab.
Yeah.
Oh, and they're all excited about. Oh, it's a new version of it.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And like Mary said, some people like anything because it's free. So now it's free. Okay, I had to pay for my first one, and now the next 5 are free. Let's hurry up and put my arm out there so I can get another one. It's almost like a cult that they're that excited about it. And like Paul says, they're adding to their punch card. It's like they enjoy this so much. And it surprised me with this particular person, to be honest.
I'm telling you right now, there are those individuals, but everywhere I go, I know that the American society is not all in as much as they were before because of things that have happened. I'm so happy about that. There is no doubt in my mind, that that's happening. Despite the push, and there is a push, there's no mandate. I mean, it's not really a mandate situation, but there is an encouragement, no doubt, an encouragement going on to do these things because there are people who feel as if this is the best way. I mean, if you talk health departments across the country, and if you're a local news station or radio, if you're going to take yourself out of it and just say, well, we're going to do whatever the health departments say because they're the pros and we're not, they have the degrees and we don't, or they have the experience and we don't, we're just going to listen to them. They're promoting it as still the best way. Our country, the CDC, the WHO still promotes the best way to fight or combat against the variants of COVID is via a cupcake, the updated cupcake, the new flavor as I speak. So
and like Greg
we shouldn't
says,
be surprised.
And like Greg says in the chat, they're giving away things if you get the jab.
Yes, you're getting a prize.
That's
right.
But that's always been the case. Right. They've always done that.
And they're still doing that. And just think about it. Your Department of Health in any one of your states is the one pushing this and pushing that. And they're very democratic. And keep in mind, going back to the fetish story, that's who's going to be investigating that. You're going to find out that nothing happens to this kid whatsoever because they're going to be, oh, it's okay. He's just, expressing himself. That's what we're dealing with.
What are you talking about?
The Missouri Department of Health.
Oh, no, that person would be arrested.
Oh, you think so?
Hell yes.
I don't know.
Hell yes.
You and I would.
That's
think
a code.
That.
Oh yeah. No. He'll be put away or something.
I don't think so. I think the Missouri Department of Health will just say, "Don't ever do that again." Give him a little slap on his wrist.
No.
I hope you're right and I'm wrong.
Well, the person's already lost their job.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, they should.
There
are
lawsuits and everything. I mean, that's endangering somebody if there's evidence.
Well, there's evidence
of that person infecting drinks, or that is a criminal action.
And people should know that this story is 3 years old. They're just now getting around to investigating.
Right. Yeah, just now. And is it because it was just brought up, or is it because the Department of Health doesn't think it's that serious of an issue? Right. That's my point with the Missouri Department of Health, who's also pushing the jab.
But
sounds like a distraction to me.
The other thing,
you're right.
This didn't surprise me, and it didn't move me. I know it did you, Lizzie, but the Empire State Building was lit up in Pfizer's blue.
Yeah, you didn't care about that, but I did. I'm like, oh, for the love of God.
And it's all about the COVID-19 shots, which are now available for kids ages 6 and up, as we've talked about. The Empire State Building went blue. And of course, it was all in honor of Pfizer and their new shot for people that they can go to. If there's not going to be a quote mandate to get these or be forced to, you'll see promotion, but it's also about money, which we have talked about before. And if there's money to be made, and there is, as we've talked about by Big Pharma, of course, you're going to see issues in situations like this, which is why you just have to educate yourself. That's why I'm not surprised. We'll probably see more.
Yes.
I just don't think that you're going to see forced mandates again, and to the extent that we saw before.
I hope we don't. And I do agree with you that I think more will fight back this time. But do I think that they will push it as closer we get to election? I do, because it worked the last time. They're that afraid of Trump. I do think there will be more pushback. I pray to God there's more pushback, but I think they're going to try to do it again. I really, really do. Now, but keep in mind, the last time these mandates didn't hold up in a court of law either. So they can say they're mandates, but you don't have to comply to them. You absolutely don't. And many people only did it the last time because they thought the mandates were the law. So I hope people understand that the mandate doesn't mean you have to do it. It's somebody's very strong suggestion to control you. But I think they're going to do it again closer to the time that people are going to be pulling ballots and mailing in ballots. I think they'll do anything to try to get people to stay home and be scared. And fear is a great controller.
Well, yeah, it can be, but people now, after fool me once, shame on me, or shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I just feel as if there's that they're not going to be able to do as much as they did before, despite there being as jabbers. Jeannie calls them jabbers. Jabbers going to jab.
Yep. And so you're going to see them. So you're going to see that going. And if Joe's prediction is right, and what they're putting in you does things to you, those jabbers are going to get weirder and weirder and weirder and weirder. They just are. So think about it. I mean, so we're dealing with a really abnormal society right now.
I can guarantee you, with all the problems that we had with the first one, the second one is, I don't even know if it'll be slightly better. Who knows?
Correct. We don't even know.
We're gonna find out, though.
Correct. So, I mean, if you want to take it, as we've said, but if you don't, for the love of God, take it. And don't give it to your kid 5 and under either.
No, don't. I agree. I just, It is what it is, people. It's going to be there. There's always messages. Be smart.
Yep.
Educate yourself, as we've talked about so many times. This is cancelthisshow.com. Vic Faust, Lizzie Sparks, Projo in the house. What do you feel about people who intentionally lie about racism to make money off of it? Well, I hope it would piss you off, but there's a comedian, Hassan Minhaj, who has admitted now, and I don't even know if you guys know who he is. We have a picture of him. This is him, Hassan Minhaj, Minhaj. He admits, this is a comedian, national comedian. He's pretty popular from a liberal standpoint. Brings a lot of liberals into his shows. He said that he admits that he makes up stories, just completely fabricates stories about experiencing racism in America.
That's what well, I don't know about that, but I mean, comedians make up stories all the time just for comedic value. But yeah, go ahead, Vic.
Lisa said, "Oh, like Al Sharpton."
Yeah, like Al Sharpton. But
Mary says that Hassan looks like Vivek. I agree, not Vivek, but he says he doesn't regret smearing real life acquaintances of his either in his acts. And I guess they would have to allow him to do this, or if he is saying that they're doing things or saying things that aren't true. But he's admitting to lying just to make up a story so that it sounds funny or that it sounds good to promote. But at the same point in time, it's not just promoting laughter. It's promoting an ideology and increasing racism and which divides more and more and more.
Correct. I love it when comedians make fun of races, including their own. I think it's hysterical.
Well, yes.
But this guy
Bill
is
Burr is
different.
one of the best, if anybody doesn't know who Bill Burr is.
Mhm.
And he's a white man, Democrat, married to a black woman, and he hates cancel culture.
Yes.
If you don't know who Bill Burr is, check him out. Love him.
But like Jay is saying, racism is a big business. So people lie all the time about that they were, treated so bad because of their race. And that's what this guy, I can't remember what you said his name is.
Hassan Minhaj.
Yes. He needs to be careful unless he has permission from the people that he's slamming, that he knows. He could be setting himself up for a very big lawsuit. So you would have to assume that his friends know he's going to do that. But if you're saying that someone's racist and there's no proof of it at all, you can be slapped with a hefty little lawsuit. So he needs to be careful.
Donna says, I love Jeff Dunham. He gets by with everything.
Yeah, Jeff Dunham is hysterical. I like him.
And Jay says racism is a big business. Yeah, it certainly can be. The interesting thing is that I'm telling you, Hassan is super, super, super popular and given a lot of credence with what he says. And then now we're finding out that much of it is made up.
Mm-hmm. And I guess it's okay if it's funny and he's not hurting anybody. It's if he is making the racist card a money business and he's just lying. That's really not that cool.
Well, of course he is. That's what happens. I mean, just know. I mean, if he's going to go out there, people have every right to go out and buy tickets to his shows.
Yes, they do.
To watch him. I mean, you're entitled to do what you want to do. If that's for you, great. Enjoy yourself. But know at the end of the day what you're supporting. And if you like that, I do know people who want friction. They want drama when it comes to race. They want there to be bad things to happen. They want there because of money and because it promotes an ideology that they already have in their brain.
Correct.
We had one of those on this show for a long time. Wants bad things, looks for it, craves it, needs it, where he will find something, and then try to make the most out of it, to throw at any conservative or to throw at the white race. Let's create some drama when it comes to white and black and brown and yellow and whatever other colors you want to throw into the mix. Just be careful about it. That's when I saw this comedian going, I was like, okay, ha, 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 funny, 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 funny. But at the end of the day, you're making a buck to make up stories. And people leave there with that in their subconscious.
Correct. And to your point, it's one thing when you're trying to make money off of it. I don't agree with it at all. But there's kind of a purpose. You don't believe it maybe, but you're going to make money. But people live in, like the person that you were talking about that was on our chat line all the time. There's people like it. Not even that person. There's people in this world that just, you're right. They love drama. They love the race problem. They maybe don't even like their own race. So they're saying everyone else is horrible to them. And they just race bait all the time. But when they're doing it, part of me feels sorry for them because they're so self-loathing and they don't like themselves. But that being said, you don't want to hang around them much because they're not very much fun at a party.
But you don't have to. And most of the time, you're not hanging around with people like that.
No, it's not fun. It's draining to hang around people like that. Life is too short to hang around this Debbie Downer that's a racist and hates themselves and so wants you to hate yourself too.
About 30 minutes ago, because we are a live podcast, canceltheshow.com, that covers all sorts of news headlines, politics, cancel culture, education, entertainment, business, you name it, plus updates. Thankfully, an arrest was made in the ambush killing of an LA sheriff's deputy from over the weekend. If you didn't see this or hear about it, he was an LA sheriff's deputy, Ryan Klinkenbermer. He was just sitting in a squad car.
So sad.
And he was shot yesterday, literally at an intersection. So he was rushed to the hospital. It's where he later died. There was a $250,000 reward leading for information to his arrest. An arrest was made this morning. We just found out about 30 minutes ago. There was, police thought it might have been a Toyota Corolla between 2006, 2012, sought in connection with the fatal attack. Well, they feel as if they've got somebody in custody now who did this. He was ambushed and killed just sitting there at an intersection. Once again, this gets back to the whole concept of what we were talking about last week. And we did have people thanking us over the weekend who were members of police officers. What these officers deal with on a daily basis, which is why we promote them. And you can't give officers enough help, enough protection, and enough money. Where's the outrage, or where's the outrage been from? You got to find out the person first, but from the community, the LA community. There was video that shows a black car pulling up to the left side of the officer's cruiser at a red light. Now, on their video, they say it's not possible to see any shots fired, but the black vehicle does drive away as the sheriff's cruiser slowly rolls forward and then comes to a stop. This, of course, after the officer was shot. There was a citizen who saw the deputy slumped over in his cruiser. And then he went inside to alert other people about what he was seeing right there at the intersection. So officer died doing absolutely only thing that he could do, working, just absolutely working. So it's just sad. These things continue to happen. Police officers continue to get attacked, which is why we continue to bring up those stories and remind people you can never take for granted the police officers that we have, and the idea in people's minds and heads that, you know what, we don't like police and we're not going to do it. And with more and more crime happening, with more and more illegal immigrants coming to our country, and with more and more people having financial issues, we need our police.
We do need our police, and we need to support them. You know, one of the nicest things that you can do is if you have a couple bucks, go buy them some treats and take them to the police station. And they really do appreciate it, no matter where you live, because people are coming after them in droves. You can see videos of police officers just sitting in their squad car and getting taken out. There's now a thing that started in Las Vegas and is going all across the country, that it's part of a gang mentality that you go and kill a police officer and you get brought up higher in the gang.
Well, yeah, that's been around for decades.
It's back out again, even more so than normal. It's going all over social media, and they're doing it they're in their cars and going up and seeing a police officer off duty on their bike and running them over and laughing. It's disgusting. And we talked about the fights last week. Over the weekend, I went to many very nice places that you wouldn't expect things to happen. And there was police coverage everywhere because the fights are getting so bad everywhere. And we just have to, pray for our kids and pray for our police officers because they're gunning for our police officers.
We see what happens, and it's continuing to happen. And of course, we have less people wanting to be police officers than we've ever had before. We've talked about in the St. Louis area where there is a lack of police officers, over 200 officers deep. That's how big the hole is. And that's in several cities across the country. And I guess we shouldn't be surprised when you see stories like this. And then when you see the amount of money that officers are paid for the work that they do, because they should probably be making double what they're making. And I'm not kidding. But those funds, and then you have this whole push now from the Democratic Party, the TikTokers, the Gen Z influencers for police defunding, literally defunding. That's one of the agendas that's being pushed forward by the Soroses, by the TikTokers that are supposed to be promoting Joe Biden while trying to decimate any conservative idea, any Republicans, which includes Donald Trump. So we'll continue to promote police whenever we get a chance. This is cancelthisshow.com. Another interesting story from the weekend it's actually one that's been building for quite some time. It's the LGBT community, the story in Michigan, because we've talked about, and you won't see media or big media talking about Muslims being against the LGBT community. They are.
They are.
And they're speaking up because guess what? It's against their faith and their religion. And it doesn't mean they're against the people. It means they're against the acts. They don't want to promote the behavior. They just say, you go do your thing, but we're not going to promote it on our city buildings. And this is very interesting because I know this town well in Michigan, but this Michigan City Council voted to unanimously remove any pride flags from public property. The LGBT community of Hamtramck, Michigan is losing their mind. Hamtramck, once a very heavy Polish area, sort of the largest Polish population of people in the state of Michigan, one of the largest in the country, with the auto industry coming to the Detroit area. Now, Hamtramck has become a very strong Muslim community. And they came out over the weekend and removed all the pride flags from their public buildings. They said they're not going to have it. Now, they unanimously voted. This happened back in June, and it's getting a lot of national attention right now because there were pride flags on their buildings, and they said they will never do it again. They said that they had previously experienced discrimination, including voter intimidation, and resistance to mosque public calls to prayer because they were against the LGBT flags being flown on their buildings. So the LGBT community started coming out against them, calling them out, going after anything that they were trying to do because, and of course, hate mongers, everything else, but they said, we're not going to give in to it. You even had a former council member who is gay saying, we welcomed you, talking to the Muslims. We created nonprofits to help feed you, to help clothe you, to help house you. We did everything that we could to make your transition in America easier. And this is how you repay us, by taking down our pride flags and stabbing us in our back.
Well, they literally want to stab gays in their back. They really do. That is, no, they do. I'm sorry. But no, I'm not sorry. The truth hurts sometimes. There is the religion. If you've ever studied their religion, they do not like gay people, but they also don't like Christians. And the left, and I'm not just talking about gay people, the left has so bowed down to that community. And here's the irony. That community hates gay people. They really, a lot of them do not like our country. And so I wish the left.
Who are you talking about? Who doesn't like our country?
The people in the Michigan, the Muslims, a lot of them do not like our country. They don't. They want to come and they want to take from our country what our country has to offer. But many of them do not like the religious ones that follow their actual religion. I'm not talking about the regular, this is not Muslim hate, so don't send me hate, but I am speaking the truth. If they are very religious and believe their religion, they don't like Christians, they don't like Jews, and they don't like gays. And the left has kowtowed to them so much. Look at the irony of what you just said.
I see your point.
Yeah, it's so true. It's like, oh, come in here, I'm going to feed you and I'm going to house you, Muslim people, says the gay community. And the left is not just the gay community, it's the left. They have brought them all in here, and now they're wondering why they're stabbing them in the back. They hate gay people.
Well, exactly. But here's the other thing about it. Even the Mayor Amr Ghalib said that we're not targeting anybody. We're trying to close the door for other groups that could be extremist or racist. Whatever they say, they're 100% against the LGBT community. The Democratic Michigan Attorney General, and she's a handful, Dana Nessel. Look her up and what she is trying to do in that state to conservatives and Republicans who speak out on any issue. She was at a protest rally saying, quote, I ask the city of Hamtramck to use its voice to speak up for its people. Take down the wall you have built that has made this city, this proud city, into a national embarrassment because they don't want to fly the pride flag. That's it. They don't want to fly the pride flag. These are elected officials in their city. All they want to do is have flags flown that are not pride, supporting pride. You know what? If you're for it, great. If you're against it, that's it. Make no mistake, homophobia, transphobia are indeed forms of evil as much as Islamophobia is.
Isn't that ironic?
And, that's what Nessel was saying.
And I don't disagree that on your government buildings, you should only have the American flag and maybe the city which you live in, the city of Chesterfield, the city of Detroit, or whatever. Have the American flag first, and then maybe the city or the state that you're in. I'm not a fan for flying the LGBTQ, and it's not because I don't like gay people. It's because there's no place for that, nor is there place for breast cancer flags or any of that.
Well, their motion allows for 5 flags flying at any point in time on public property in the city of Hamtramck, which is in the Detroit metropolitan area. The U.S. flag, the state flag of Michigan, the Hamtramck city flag, that's 3. The prisoner of war flag, which is 4, and a unique flag representing the nations from which many Hamtramck citizens come from. So that's their 5th flag. And it's all about their country or their state or their city or provinces outside of a prisoner of war flag. So it's not an issue flag.
Right. I get that. I'm not sure that on a state building you should fly a flag that's not American or from where you're from. I'm not at all triggered by somebody that has an American flag and then maybe an Italian flag underneath it. I understand being proud of where your heritage is from. I get that, but you're an American first. And I'm not sure if everybody in that town, they can have every single person in that town represented with that 5th flag. So you got to be careful about that.
It's just interesting how fast parts of America can change, because it wasn't that long ago that I was in Hamtramck doing a story on Punchki Day.
On Punchki Day.
And it wasn't a Muslim-dominated town. That's happened in the last 10 to 15 years. Yeah. I mean, it's insane how fast that has gone that way, at least in that town, in the Detroit metropolitan area. Blows my freaking mind.
Can somebody tell me what Punchki Day is?
You don't know what punchkis are?
I have no clue.
Really?
I am uncultured, apparently.
I've heard of it, but I couldn't tell you what it is either. I like Vic saying that word,
punchki.
Though.
Yeah,
punchki. I like that.
Punchki. It is an interesting one.
It's Polish. It's a Polish pastry. PAC.
Oh, that sounds
ZKI.
good.
Punchki. They're basically donuts, like really flaky, buttery donut, like
Kind of like baklava?
No, but that's soft.
Okay.
And it's filled with like custard creams. It's a massive Polish tradition. They only do it once a year. It's on Fat Tuesday.
Sounds pretty good to me.
Do they do that day there now with so many Polish people being gone?
Oh yeah, I guarantee it.
They still do it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, because those places they're iconic.
Mm-hmm.
They're iconic where you would go and get your punchki. And you get them all over the area, but Hamtramck, which was the Polish town, is where you get your punchki. Now, punchki is on Fat Tuesday, Punchki Day. It's Fat Tuesday every year, and it's the day before Lent starts. So
that makes sense.
It went back to days where you would take everything in your house, your lard, your butter, you'd put it all together, and you'd eat before the season of
Lent. You party hard
Lent,
the day before.
Correct.
I get that.
And
that's a good holiday.
Each punchki or punchki is plural. They have I don't know, like 3,500 calories in one, so to speak, donut, a Polish donut.
Mm-hmm.
And that's your punchki day. So yeah, it's a big deal. It's not a big deal as much in the Midwest, but it's a massive day in Detroit. And I believe it became so big there because the Polish would take care of that. Michelle on the line says, I'm Polish. They are yummy.
Oh, they sound delicious. I've never had one. I want one.
I compared them to like jelly donuts.
Oh, they sound
like
good.
like a big jelly donut, but then you can have all sorts of creams and fillings and good stuff that go inside of it.
Oh, they sound great.
But I'm just going to tell you, it makes you feel so full, though. I mean,
bet.
Like a bad full.
Like after you eat one, you can't eat the rest of the day, it sounds like.
Punchki. Vic pronounces it very well because it's spelled Paczki. Punchki. Punchki.
And Michelle said
punchki.
Her mother made him for her daddy.
Yeah.
That's
so that's punchki.
Nice.
That's what they were going. Did I bring up punchki, or how did that happen?
Yeah, you said something about Punchki Day, and I'm like, what is Punchki Day?
Okay, now you know, buddy.
I do.
Now we know.
I had no idea. And one of the best things ever.
Love that.
Here's the thing, and we have all kinds of things that we talk about. Growing up in the St. Louis area, when I did in my time, I was not very cultured. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be mean. We're just not a very cultured area when it comes to. I went to Detroit, and you had like 11 different nationalities all converged because of the auto industry. And it really opened your eyes to so many things and people and ideas. And when I say progressive, I mean progressive business ideas and ways of life, and keeping an open mind and talking to people and being able to understand where people come from. I mean, I was in mosque that were with imams that were over from the Middle East and invited in. I did some news stories, and then I was invited in as a possible speaker. And it's just like I get chills talking about it, walking in, going, "Oh my gosh, I feel like I've just walked into a different country in the Middle East," because they're the largest contingent of Muslims in America are in a Detroit suburb there. And anyway, but the Polish, it's just fun. It's just a lot of good people there. So Punchki, it's good to get out and learn about these other days across the country. So basically, Aaron says a Polish Krispy Kreme.
Sounds yummy.
Yeah. You know what though? With all due respect to the culture, I think I would rather eat a Krispy Kreme with jelly inside of it.
Than a pushka?
Than a punchki.
Punchki. I'm not making fun of it. I like the word. I'm just not Polish.
See, I think Krispy Kreme has a lighter, like fluffier kind of.
Correct.
From what it sounds like.
Yeah, this is heavier.
A punchki is like a dense kind of a donut.
So that was fun. Okay, I'm ready for some bacon, eggs, and gravy biscuit.
That sounds good, Donna. I'm kind of ready for it. And that is one of the things I do like about America is I do like a melting pot of people. I would be lying if I said I didn't. I love it. But you live here in America, so I want you to speak English and I want you to fly the American flag really high. But then again, I want to sit with you and talk about your traditions and your family's traditions and where you learned it. But with some of that, we're bringing in people that have lost American America Pride, and we've talked about how it's, bad to be a nationalist this day. I think you can be a nationalist and still love that you came from Poland, or still love that you came from Germany.
You can, but you also understand the problem with that.
I do.
When people come here, we're melting pot. It's good. You're damned if you do, damned if you don't, though, because people from other countries made America. It's what we were founded on. People from all over the place.
True. And I like that.
And you
part
keep,
of it.
I know, but now people come in and it is different. And that's why you'll see partial flags, or, you'll see a flag that has one country and America on it, or their own flag coming in, because it's about your own pride, not taking care of pride of a new country that you're coming into.
Well, and like I said earlier, I have no problem. I have a neighbor that they're so lovely that they have the American flag and then they have the Italian flag, because they're very Italian and they don't live on the hill, and they used to live on the hill. And I love to go to the hill because I love that you feel like you're in Italy. But when I'm in the hill, I still feel like people love America. I just do. I feel like they do. So you can. I
would second that.
Yeah. Don't you think the people on the hill love America?
But where are you going that you don't feel that?
Some places in the city of St. Louis, the other part, you can literally be in the hill and feel like they love America. And you can just go a couple blocks over into Tower Grove where they don't like America. A lot of them, not all of them, but there's a lot of people over there that don't really like being an America lover. They think it's nationalist, just a little bit away.
You don't see very many American flags in the Tower Grove area.
You don't. Matter of fact, you see a lot of BLM signs, and I love the Tower Grove area, and I love
Webster.
Shaw, or Webster.
By the way, I was at my son's football game over the weekend.
How'd that go?
And I had a person that lives in Webster who said, "Hey, did you guys cover that story about Olive and Oak?" And I just looked at her and I started laughing. And I don't talk about political preferences with people. I had an idea maybe, but I was like, how did that make you feel? She's like, it was total bullshit that they didn't let Vivek Ramaswamy do his dinner there. And I was like, okay, that was kind of the sentiment from the show that we do. And I figured that might be, but I don't bring up politics with people. If people want to talk politics, I'll try to keep an open mind with them and we'll talk. But they're actually one Webster family that was embarrassed that an incredible restaurant did not let Vivek Ramaswamy come to town and do a political fundraising event at their restaurant, despite allowing cross or drag shows to take place.
Yeah. So that's good to hear.
But I was told, and I got this information from a really good source. Now listen up. Here it is. Get ready. My son told me, Dad, another family brought Vivek in for a fundraising event.
Love it.
I said, you got to get me more intel. I was like, he's in my class.
Oh,
and I went,
that's good to know. Okay.
And I went, interesting. And I said, was it a family member? Is it, somebody that I was just trying to ask all kinds of details.
Yeah.
And he told me that it was another somebody of Indian descent.
Got it. Well, very good.
And I was
very
like,
good.
oh, okay. But I don't know where, and he didn't know where. So I have to ask my son again where they went. But allegedly, Vivek did come to St. Louis. It just wasn't at Olive and Oak, and did have some sort of fundraising event. So, it is what it is.
That's awesome. Well, and I know with your son's age,
and at this point in time, I have decided to stay away from Olive and Oak.
Hopefully you.
But every penny I have goes into this place anyway. And
well, you don't want to go there right now anyway.
No, I'm not. As much as I like it, I'm not.
Yeah,
they would have to turn over a whole new leaf. It's taking me some time. I mean, even
you're done mourning.
Even if I had all the money to go do it, I wouldn't be going.
You wouldn't be doing it. Good. I'm glad to hear it.
Because of that.
Yeah, because that's discrimination. That was the classic discrimination. But you know what I think is so neat, Vic, is yes, we kind of bash on the Gen Z and they're very liberal, but I've noticed, and I don't know what group is this, unless this is part of Gen Z, kids that are in high school today are reaching out, looking at all sorts of things. And I'm hoping they're not as left as the millennials were for a while and Gen Z.
Just depends on where you are.
Yeah, I guess it does. I guess it does. Yeah.
It's,
I'm always just wishful thinking. I just want everybody to wake up and understand how great America is. And it's okay to have differences, but you still can't be dumb and think Joe Biden is great and think giving all your money to the government so the government can then control you is a good thing. I just want everybody to understand that.
No, they don't.
They don't.
No,
I know.
Most people,
They don't.
It kind of is what it is from its standpoint.
It is what it is.
Guys, we thank you for joining us today for cancelthisshow.com. I'm Vic Faust with Lizzie Sparks and Projo. Remember, check out our website, cancelthisshow.com. Once again, we're always looking for partners, business partners, advertisers, even to try us out for a couple months. You can do that as well. The advertisers we have having really good success, and we're grateful for their support. Also, on our website, you can check out our merch page. There's a blue button. You can click on that, take you to the merchandise page. You can get your orders in right there. We do have local pickup as well. There are several opportunities, several different items that you can order, from hats, shirts, cups, coolies, coffee cups, you name it. It is cancelthisshow.com. Lots of gear there, all kinds of hats, new things coming as well. We appreciate you jumping in from that standpoint, promoting us. You can send us stars as well. The stars that we have, you can send on Facebook. And of course, you can, well, shit, it's over. Boo. That's what Jeannie says. We're getting to that point. Yeah, 9:53. We're kind of getting to that point. I just wanted to make sure that I get the housekeeping notes in, because I always seem to forget, because there's so much stuff to talk about. Also, is there a Patriots page that I was supposed to promote as well? Or are we caught up on all of it?
We haven't gotten the Patriots page yet for last week, but it will be put on later today on, if you're not on our group, if you want to be on the group that's for the people who listen to the show. It's a private group now. We changed it from a public to a private. It's Cancel This Patriots Outpost, and you'll see who the people were most involved. I guess that's the way to word. And you can be involved anywhere. It's a accumulation of speaking on live, or after the show that you comment, or you go onto our group page and have discussions there. And it is totally okay to agree and to disagree there. And it's also, if you email, that sort of thing. It's the people of the week that just interacted on all the different platforms, or a whole lot on one.
We also wanted to promote our Cancel This Live page on Instagram. If you're not following us yet, please do. You can take our material and send it out as well. Cancel the show. It's literally Cancel This Live on Instagram. Cancel This Live on Instagram. Also, you can check if you like and subscribe on Rumble. Even if you send us a little thumbs up, a little strong arm, anything, it all helps with the algorithms that we work with. But Cancel This Live on our Instagram page. And also, if you're not on TikTok, get on TikTok. Please try it out and follow us on TikTok, because it's another avenue for us to generate income on the show. When you have so many followers, you have so many listeners. Believe it or not, TikTok is a big place to promote.
And we're just really trying to push that now. We haven't really been on there very much. Our Instagram is crazy. So if you guys have not been on the Instagram, it's really funny. And we have a lot of people liking our stuff on Instagram.
And of course, as always, we thank you for all of your support right there. Am I on there? I don't know if you're on there, and you can send
I'll
us
look,
stars.
Jeannie. I'll look.
On Facebook. Margie says, sorry, no TikTok. And yeah, feel free, jump in and support us there as well. So for this September 18th podcast, we thank you for joining us today. For Projo and Lizzie Sparks, I'm Vic Faust. Guys, have a great day, and thanks for joining us today.